All right, welcome in everyone to another exciting episode of Hot Shots Secret Live here on Facebook and YouTube. Today we'll be talking about what a new diesel owner should know. And also maybe we'll get rid of some myths that other diesel owners might know as well. So as always, be sure to put your comments below. We'll be looking at those and trying to answer those questions throughout the show. Also like to know where you're watching from today. So please comment below, let us know where you're watching from. And today we're giving away EDT and Diesel Extreme. So everyone that leaves a comment during the broadcast will be entered into a drawing for that, and we'll pick a winner after the show. We'll be contacting you with that wonderful prize.
Awesome.
As always, like I said, we're dual streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. Be sure to like and share this video and hit the subscribe button on YouTube to get this video and all our great content. Also, be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok. And with that, we're actually going to bring Kyle Fisher in. He is live down at Lights Out in Georgia. Hey, Kyle, what's up?
We on?
Yep.
Good. Hey guys, welcome to South Georgia Motorsports Park, our big first race of the year. We're down here at Lights Out 15. Here's our guy Jared Ring. If anybody's been connected to the internet the last few days, you've probably seen this video. We got a few more passes on the track, so we'll have some audio getting here as they go by. But this beautiful Cadillac has been a private thing for quite a while that we've helped the reps, but we're really excited that it's finally out. And we got Jared here to tell us a little bit about it. I mean, this has been a secret for a while.
Yeah.
And it's actually a secret that was kept for once.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of
So we
surprise.
didn't tell Ryan.
That's the trick. That's the trick.
That's how that happened.
So first tell us, I mean, there's some history behind this car. A lot of people know the history of it. So like, how did it come about you getting your hands on it?
So the people that don't know, this is Larry Larson's MPK Cadillac. He built it back in, I think it's maybe in 2020. I might be wrong. We saw the car at PRI the first time when he put it in the Turbo Smart track. He built it. I think he made like one race before that. You know, we've got these cars, ATS or CTS. We've always been CTS people. Love LT4 setup, things like that. But this car was there. We were like, oh my gosh, you know, if we're ever gonna build a car, this is it. So anyway, didn't really go anywhere with it at that time. Let it go for a couple years, got to racing the truck around everywhere, got to being pretty successful with it, and not that we don't like no time stuff, but we kind of decided we wanted a fast car. We could express time, get more when people see what these cars are doing, and that kind of, you know, like sometimes guys kind of got to do, and just said, heck, you know, we ought to just ask Larry if he wants to build us one. So we did, and he's kind of asked me, said, would you be willing to build one, or would you sell yours? And he said, think about it, I can sell mine, you know. Come up with a price, give us a price, and we worked a deal within a couple of months. It was about a year ago now. So the agreement was made for him to run the car for the year. He didn't have time to get back to build a new car for the MPK series, so he ran the car. We kept it under wraps, just make sure nothing happened, didn't jinx it. Everything came out good. Went over, took a new Freedom Racing engine over to his shop a couple days after CRI. Picked the car up about 2 weeks later, and here we are. I think it surprised a lot of people. If we hadn't built the truck already in a pretty short period of time, once we got all of our stuff, we probably wouldn't have known what all we needed, but we were pretty set up. We made a lot of plans ahead of time, got a lot of parts ordered ahead of time, got a lot of things lined up ahead of time. That's how we're here. Got a lot of good people behind us, SNSBs from here on the side, everybody sees that. Of course, we're running Hot Shots Fluids and everything, this car in the truck. Several people helping us out. Lots of nitrous express on this thing, Harsh Turbos, providing turbos. Got a lot going on. Got a good team. I think we can do some things. A lot of people's asking about the door summer record. Kind of got put on the page. We were coming here to break it. That's not necessarily the case right now. At some point, we're not here to do that. This is a brand new high-dollar car. These things cost a lot of money. We will be easy enough on it. We will be safe. We've got a meal chance converter in this car as opposed to a Suncoast like we've always run. The car is locking up hard. We did pick up a right tire right then on lockup and go hard left. So we're going to be careful. We're going to ease into the power on the car, keep it going. hoping you guys get to see some good runs out of this thing this weekend.
And I think we will. I mean, out of the gate, got some pretty clean hits to start.
First full pass down the track, under power, the 437 or something. We've got this thing full way down.
So tell me, obviously we dropped the diesel in it. What modifications needed to happen to make that happen?
You know, I don't think Larry knew that he built a small tire diesel powered car. He did not have to do a whole lot to it.
Really?
He basically got a mid plate and some front mounting plates.
Let's take a look at the engine.
Yeah.
This is pretty. And so I recognize this welding over here.
Yeah. I did not do any of that, just so everybody knows. There's one weld that kind of looks bad up here. That one's mine. The rest of the stuff is done by Cody Fisher over at Precision. He knocked it out of the park. We called him and asked him if he could come and help. He did. Took out to Texas for 4 or 5 days. Built this amazing masterpiece over here. Really glad he got to come, because it wouldn't have looked anything like it does today if it wasn't for that. All this material, putting the window well, and I did all that, so that'll show you all the difference. I got old school valve cover on it there. Got our fleece seal intake on here. Couple turbo starter valves on there. And a whole lot of nice express heat over there. Mixer is all the way around on this car. We had some other stuff on there when we first got the car. Didn't really like what we were looking at. Needed some 4-ways up back, so we got some 9-inch 4-ways up back. Got some 5-inch struts here in the front. Things seem to be going good so far.
I'll tell you what, there's a couple things that say a lot of race cars, but come check this out. Tell us about what S&S did here. Come look at this Motec wiring. So, that little box right there is a router, right?
Yep. So, this is all Andre's deal. He wanted a wireless router on the truck years ago, last year. So it was a little bit easier from running the cord in and out. The difference from the car and the truck right now is the car actually has a switch on it. So we have all of our input stuff into the switch. It goes to the route now, so there's no stuff in it.
That valve is leaking on the bottom. That's pretty impressive. So, I mean, you can still plug in directly, plug in your laptop and the tune, but they also have the capability of sending all that information
90% wireless.
And I think I saw a post you guys did during testing where Andre was watching your data live at the burnout and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's new to me. I don't think I've ever seen that.
He said, until this thing gets fast, I'm going to put it on before you leave. I was like, okay, I'll turn it up.
I'll tell you, it's another cool thing I saw. Go somewhere in the car here, watch this. But check out the little phone here on the back. Now what do you know? It's got a backup camera on it.
That's the ring racing preview right there. We're riding down through the pits, going over and watching it right there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we use it to back up, makes it a lot easier. These things, it looks like you can see things pretty easy. There's a lot of bars in there. I got to turn my hat around backwards to turn around to see it.
Yeah.
But that camera is a big difference.
I bet.
Makes it great.
And does that come up on your display?
Yeah. You hit we just turn a button on in there. It works just like the car. You put it in reverse and it comes on automatically. I can turn it on as well without the car on.
That's great. And one thing with the seat too, I felt like this was, you're sitting back, but it's really how these cars are built.
Yeah, and riding on the back tire there.
Yep. So you're in there. Oh, and by the way, look at this. Get this, man. Real door handles, and this thing closes and opens like a regular car.
This is a
If anybody shut a race car door, it usually doesn't feel like that.
100% factory body on this car. So even the nose is all steel fender, carbon hood, carbon front end like the V's have on them, but 100% factory. The detents are still in the doors. The doors don't come off. They've got factory hinges on them. That's a lot of cool about this car for sure.
Yeah. And maybe my favorite part of it is, if anybody knows the CTSVs, they're known to have a center exhaust exit in the back. So you've got a hood exit, and we've seen a lot of hood stacks on diesel trucks and stuff. But check out where this one exits. It's dead center, just like your traditional CTSV center out of the back. And that just looks cool.
Yeah, this Motec control, man, keep it clean now, like it was good.
Well, especially right there, you gotta have it clean. You probably can't see the light. And see how it exits. The hood's off over here, but you can see it. It comes right through the side of the hood, and it just looks neat. So we're really excited about this. Thanks for giving us a couple minutes here. We're wishing you luck this week and this year, and obviously you guys know that truck too. You're gonna be running both this weekend.
They run both. They'll actually both make a pass in Q1 tonight. All our diesel fans that doesn't usually get to see us, we're kind of working on something maybe coming to reviews this year.
I wouldn't even say that, but I guess you guys did.
I mean, just maybe a surprise. We're working on that.
That'd be cool.
We'll get right up there and get to see everybody. They should do it on these things we do. They are pretty.
Yep, they sure are. They're as good as they look in video and picture. It just makes you guys get to see the stuff in person. So I hope you do get able to bring it out to Rudy's and let Diesel World get gat by a couple of them and see how nice they are. But we're gonna wrap up. We got a lot of content coming this week. We're just first day here. We got qualifying starting tonight. Qualifying tomorrow. I think eliminations probably start Friday. Are they gonna start Friday or Saturday?
I think it's still scheduled to start Saturday.
Okay. I know we have a break like Thursday for the banquet kind of thing. So we'll have a lot of content coming. We'll be going live. I think we're gonna try to go live on our TikTok maybe by Saturday. It sounds like.
Already have.
All right. So we're usually on the Facebook side, but check TikTok this week too, and stay tuned. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate that.
The full sends in the background are a nice touch.
Yes, they are, for sure. That is one awesome car, and I'm glad we were able to get that on for us to take a look at firsthand.
Absolutely.
And, like all this, check out Lights Out this weekend. I believe it's on Flow Racing as well. So, if you want to see that car, some of our other diesel guys as well, and also all the great gas cars in that great event, check out Lights Out streaming over on Flow Racing.
Awesome. So, as you know, I'm a new diesel owner now.
I just learned this, actually.
Yeah, just told you. So, that kind of puts us into our next segment. What should new diesel owners know? What are some common questions for new diesel owners?
Yeah, so yeah.
I'll start it off. I'll be the novice this time. I'll pretend to be the novice.
Yeah,
So-
it's your first go around actually owning one.
Yeah.
Not that you're not knowledgeable from being here, but
Yeah, there's a difference between doing it in the real world and then in the lab and knowing the fundamentals versus executing them. So
well, congratulations on being a diesel owner.
I appreciate it.
We
It's
need
great
more
to
of you
work
guys
here.
in this world.
Yeah, absolutely. So, first question is: diesel vehicles are on the rise and people are buying them. What are the positives of having a diesel engine?
So there's a lot of advantages to diesel. First off, towing power. So diesels, our gas engines today are very good. A lot of them make a lot of power, but for the torque and the ability to tow easier, a diesel engine's very, very nice option, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of towing. Also with actually stopping as well, because many of today's new diesel pickups and our larger semi trucks all have a exhaust brake on them.
Yeah.
So it also helps with slowing down as well. The other thing is fuel efficiency. You're going to typically get better fuel economy out of a diesel than a gasoline vehicle, just because of the pure amount of the amount of energy in a gallon of diesel versus a gallon of gasoline.
Yeah.
The other thing is longevity. Diesel engines are made to go 500,000 miles or more.
Yeah.
So you have that longevity standpoint. And the last thing is when you do go to sell it, typically a higher resale value than gas.
Yeah, one thing I noticed with that towing power you were talking about, one day I was leaving to come to work driving it, and actually it's manual, so I pulled out in third gear, and I was just lugging the thing, but it didn't stall out, and that just shows you the low end torque of it's going in third gear from zero, so you're not going to be stalling out. You got a lot of torque on the
You got a lot of torque, yeah.
What are some negatives?
Yeah, so there's some things that offset all those positives. First, the upfront cost. Typically, we're seeing $7,500 as an option for most lines. I don't know if that's moved much in the current market, but that used to be the gold standard. It used to be $3,000 and $5,000 and about $7,500 last time I looked. So You got that upfront cost. The repair and maintenance also a little bit higher. You got more capacity oil. You have a fuel filter that needs changed more often. It's really required to be changed, where a lot of gasoline drivers don't change it as often as they should. And the filters themselves are typically more expensive, so higher repair and maintenance cost. And then the fuel cost itself. At one point when I was growing up as a young kid, I remember diesel being cheaper than gas.
Yeah.
That's not the fact today. With ultra low sulfur diesel and the amount of refining done to it, the cost of diesel is higher than gasoline.
Yeah, and then a note on those repair costs you had. You buy a new injector for a gasoline vehicle, it's maybe $40 for an injector. A diesel is $1,000 at the least for one injector, and you're better off replacing all of them. So,
Right.
just another step getting into some diesels. So, there are issues with diesel fuel. Is that why additives are needed with each tank of fuel?
It really is. So, diesel fuel itself is not as refined as gasoline. We always like to say around here it's a hot dog of fuel. So, you don't know what you're going to get sometimes. It's kind of the leftover process. Now, there are standards, but our standards are probably not where they should be as far as getting the optimum performance out of the engine. So, first off, let's talk about lubricity. That's a big one that we've been hearing from consumers and also know in the industry. The newer trucks with the CP4 pump, there's issues with it. Here in the U.S., failure rate 7 to 10%. In Europe, 1%. The difference, the lubricity level in our diesel fuel. And so an additive is needed every time for lubricity, number one, to help prolong that system life. So if you have a new truck, their tighter tolerances need more lubricity to help protect that expensive system. Older vehicles, it was made when diesel fuel had more sulfur in it. Sulfur acts as a lubricant. So again, both sides, new and old, we need lubricity.
Yeah, with those with the fuel pumps that are being used, CP3, CP4, they're essentially mini engines in your fuel tank. I mean, they have rollers. It has a form of a camshaft. It's one lobe, and it's going through the same, if not worse, than your engine camshaft is. I mean,
and the only thing that lubricates it is the fuel itself. It's metal on metal until there's fuel in the system. The fuel acts as a lubricant.
You have low quality fuel. You have moisture. All of these are just factors that are going to
Right. So So besides lubricity, another thing is the cetane level.
Yeah.
So these diesels are made and performed, or programmed, I should say, to run with a 48 to 50 level of cetane. We typically don't see that at the pump.
No, not at all.
So we rarely see something in the low 40s. So having an additive with cetane booster in it will help that diesel fire and perform as it was meant to, with fuel economy, power, and also it reduces the amount of soot that comes out of the engine. Why is that important? Because all those newer vehicles use a filter to help filter out the soot to help meet emission requirements.
Yeah, the DPF system as well as the SCR catalyst.
Right. So if we can reduce the amount of soot that comes out of the engine, we can do that two ways. The cetane I just talked about.
Yep.
The other way is keeping our injector clean. So having a deep clean of the injectors, that's where our diesel extreme comes in.
Exactly.
And then EDT with the cetane boost and the maintenance dose of injector cleaner to help keep them clean. We burn the fuel more efficiently, have less soot, get more power out of it, and in turn, reduce the amount of DPF regens.
Nice. I feel like if I didn't know most of that, all of that, I feel like I'd be pretty up to date.
Right.
I feel like I'd have a lot
Okay.
so it helps me out as a new one.
Couple other issues with diesel.
Gotcha.
Water and moisture.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So you get that because it just naturally attracts to each other.
Yeah. Yeah, and you get especially in ethanol blends or alcohol mixtures, you'll get something called phase separation, where that alcohol is actually pulled apart from the mixture with the fuel. Happens in gas mainly, but there are ethanol blend diesels, especially bio. We haven't even touched the bio base, but it's mandatory at least 5% bio. You get water in there, it pulls it out, and your cetane goes way down. Lubricity is terrible.
Terrible.
So
Yeah.
water is very, very big factor.
Yeah. So what we do at Hot Shot Secret is anything that's diesel, we use a water demulsifier, which means we pull the water out separate. We let it sit on the bottom of the tank, use the rust and corrosion inhibitor to protect the tank from rusting. But then the fuel water separator will take care of that, let it drain out easily where it should be. If you would emulsify it or put it into the fuel and send it out through the injector tips, you have the ability or the chance of blowing those injector tips off with steam because of the high pressure and heat that's in a diesel engine.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the last issue with fuel is northern states, cold climates, gelling.
Yeah.
And that can be a big one. And we can address that a bit more as we go through
Yep.
what we're doing.
Yep.
But so fuel itself naturally has wax in it.
Mhm.
And why don't you tell it?
All right,
You,
all right,
you
all right.
can tell it from the chemistry side, and I'll tell it a little bit from. I'll dumb it down.
Okay. So, diesel fuel naturally has something called paraffinic wax. Now, if you've ever purchased a non-beeswax candle, it's going to be made out of paraffinic wax. It's the same stuff that's in the fuel. It's all derived from crude oil. Now, paraffinic wax has a tendency to crystallize. You can see on the filter picture there. Has a tendency to crystallize. Now, in the crystallization phase, you can hardly tell. Really, when you see it, it looks just like cloudy diesel fuel. That's when it first starts to precipitate. From there, it just gets worse and worse. It turns into a gel, like what you can see. And the issue itself is not necessarily for the gel for your fuel pump or even through your fuel lines. It's right at the filters where the issue tends to build up. And this is for all filters. And especially going towards the injectors. Solids or non-Newtonian fluids like this are even when they're pressurized, they almost solidify even more. So going through the injector, it makes it even worse, even harder for the injector to pump it. Then you run into the issue with air. So gelling is generally something you really, really want to avoid. Now, what happens with an additive is you're using a wax modifier, and it's actually reducing the chemical structure, the carbon chain of these wax crystals. Usually they form, all the way down to 2 or 3 carbon chains, but they'll go up to 7 to 16 is the range that our additive starts to take an effect, and that reduces the ability for these carbon chains to interact with each other.
So they can't conglomerate and glide together, and that's when you start
Exactly.
getting clogs in your fuel filter because it might be like a 15 micron fuel filter.
Exactly.
And we get our wax bigger than that, and all of a sudden we're stopping that flow or we're slowing down that
Yep.
flow. And like we talked about before, that's when you also get some lubricity issues too. Because if you get some air in there, there's no fuel to go through the fuel pump, and now we got air starting to build into the system.
Yep.
But also metal on metal contact of the components can leave some serious issues down the road.
Absolutely, yeah. And then, once again, back to moisture, it's a factor on all of this. The point at which everything gels, lubricity and air, all of it, it's a compounding of issues.
Yeah, and you can actually get icing too of the fuel,
Yeah.
depending on how much water's in there. With the water demulsifier we use, it actually lowers the freeze point of water as well. I think it's -40 it takes it down to, if I remember properly.
For water, and it's independently interacting with our additive for water, I believe it's -10.
You're right. I was thinking of it as the other way, but yeah, you're right, -10. So taking water it normally freezes at 32 degrees and getting it down to -10. So
Yeah.
a good icing protection as well. So that's really the key on the fuel side. So let's kind of go through our 2-step treatment for everyone that maybe have never heard of it before or just not as familiar with it. We recommend every 6,000 miles using Diesel Extreme, and that uses a bit more. It's 8 ounces will treat 40 gallons of fuel. And it's a deep clean of the injectors. It's actually a 6-in-1, but its main job is a injector cleaner and cetane boost.
Yeah.
We use what they call DW10 test to.
The Peugeot testing. Yes.
Okay, and tell a bit about what it does compared to some of the other injector cleaners out there.
Does really well, actually. So the test is based primarily on the amount of soot that's produced, as well as the coking of the diesel injector. And coking is exactly what it sounds like. It's this powder that will cover the injector tip as well as the combustion chamber. And we are actually measuring the volume of the cylinder before and after it has been coked up, and then we're running the test with an additive mixed into the baseline fuel, and seeing the reduction in volume of the soot. So we're literally measuring the amount of byproduct produced. And I don't believe I have an exact number. I believe it's 70% reduction in soot production.
Yeah, and it's relatively quick too compared to some of the other products out there when it's tested against.
Yeah.
So yeah, we cleaned up the injector. We do clean up both the external deposits, which have been around diesel injectors forever, but also with ultra low sulfur diesel, we get internal diesel injector deposits as well, IDIDs.
Yeah, exactly.
So we clean up both of those. Not every cleaner on the market does that. And like I said before, it's a 6-in-1, so we boost the cetane up to 7 points as well. So help reduce those DPF regens, get the most performance out of your fuel there. Got the water, demulsifier, rust and corrosion inhibitor, a fuel stabilizer, good for up to a year. I don't know what else I forgot.
No matter how many times you say these 7, these 6, it's so impossible to remember.
But really, it does everything you need for your fuel, and that's the key point to that.
Yeah.
That was the first diesel fuel additive that we introduced as a company.
Exactly.
And from that, we actually came up with this. It's really brilliant, and it's the way you should treat your fuel. Well, a 2-step process, and the second step is everyday diesel treatment. It is basically dumbing it down. Diesel Extreme without as much injector cleaner in it.
Plus, you make room for removing a lot of that injector cleaner. You make room for all of the passive effects that you're wanting.
Right.
So looking at the injector cleaner, cetane booster, and lubricity, those are all active.
Right. And lubricity is actually higher than in the EDT as well.
Yeah.
Quite a bit higher. And we even boosted that more in our reformulation to include our LX4 additive for lubricity.
Yes.
After all the issues with the CP4 pumps. Knowing there was an issue, we addressed one of the issues in the industry.
Yeah, and then plus additional storage, stabilizer, moisture dispersant, and rust and corrosion inhibitor. So this really is your day-to-day formula. Much lower treat rate. What is it? 1 ounce per 400 gallon, 1 ounce per 25 gallons.
Yeah, one or 2 ounces per 25 gallons. And so when we do that double dose, that 2 ounce for 25 gallons, we add 7 points of cetane to it,
Yep.
more lubricity, and a little more injector cleaner. The other components don't quite really see a difference in the performance.
Yeah.
But if you're towing, I definitely recommend the 2 ounce treatment and really see how your vehicle reacts to it too.
Yeah.
Everyone's a little different. Their driving habits, the fuel they buy in general. So you can see some different, I get that question a lot at trade shows. Why would you do this one over that one? Well, I would tell you probably use a 2 ounce, but see how it performs for you. That's the best way to find out.
Yeah, and there are applications that you're going to run into. A lot of city working trucks, the power line construction vehicles, whatever it be. They actually just run Diesel Extreme because of the amount of idle time they run into. So, yeah, and that's something that you can call in, and we can talk to you directly and find a solution for your situation. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that was the 6-in-1 for EDT with LX4, and then we covered our Diesel
Alright.
Extreme. And the way we look at it, very, very simple. Diesel Extreme is your deep clean. EDT with LX4 is your keep clean. And easy way I like to tell everyone, with Diesel Extreme, if you're going to use it, use that every oil change. You already got the vehicle up in the air. You're changing your oil. Might as well dump a bottle of this in your tank, and then you're good to go. You don't have to do it until your next oil change.
Yeah, and then you remember it too. So that's the nice part. I'll also use that. And I'll go with one last analogy. Diesel Extreme's like going to the dentist for the deep clean and brushing your teeth every time with EDT. So every time you fill up. All right, let's take a look at our comments before we roll on.
Yeah,
I want to say hi to Kyle's mom. First off, our biggest fan. Thanks for joining us, Cindy. Let's see here. Wes over on YouTube said that manifold was crazy. He was wondering if it has any helps with anything performance-wise. We'll have to find out from Kyle, maybe if there's any story behind that, or I think it's just more of trying to get it out of the vehicle, to be honest. But
yeah, it's more than likely just going to be exhaust flow.
all right, and we got Team Top Kick over on YouTube. Old timer trick on mechanical diesel was to add ATF or some motor oil to the fuel. You guys have done testing on this, haven't you?
Yeah, we have. So comparatively a treat rate for adding ATF. People say add a quart of ATF to your 30-gallon tank, whatever it is. Lubricity is just not as good. It's not as good as 1 ounce or 2 ounce or even 1 ounce of the EDT with LX4. And you look at a bottle of even your cheapest, AC Delco transmission fluid. That stuff's like 10, 12, even $15, and you're dumping the whole bottle in there. It's not even.
And you're telling me
performance
for $20 I can treat 400 gallons and get better performance.
exactly. Yeah.
And all the extra benefits.
Yeah.
So there we go. I think that tells the story right there. Knowledge is power, and you're really trying to. It does work. There is some boost, to be honest, but it's not the same performance. And then also you can't do that in today's trucks either. With
Yeah,
the
not too
emissions,
much,
Not
yeah.
too much. I mean,
And, they have zinc and phosphorus, calcium concentration in there, so that'll actually can lead to elemental poisoning in the SCR catalyst. So
Yeah.
you got to watch out with that.
right. So that's great information. I'm glad you were on, Logan. You could explain that very well.
No problem.
All right. And then last comment here. Randy, been using Stiction Eliminator and FR3 along with EDT Winter and extra LX4 to save my 14 Duramax CP4. 10,000 miles and running great. So
Awesome.
All right. Great to hear that, Randy. And I'm going to shout out to my good friend Greg Temple. Just said good afternoon, gentlemen. So one of our sponsored racers as well.
Awesome.
So let's talk about our two-step oil treatment real quick.
All right, so Stiction Eliminator is going to be the equivalent of Diesel Extreme. You're going to use that probably, you're changing your oil. You got the Diesel Extreme in the tank. Now you're going to fill up your oil. You're going to be using Stiction Eliminator. It's your first try, so you're going to get these two products. Stiction Eliminator is our deep clean for the oil side. Not only is it a cleaner, it's also lubricating, friction reducer as well. It's kind of hard to find one of those on the market. Something that
Cleans and
protects.
lubricates.
Yeah.
And actually the FR3 is part of it as well.
Yeah, FR3 is included in the formula of Stiction Eliminator, and all of our oils that we offer as well include FR3 in there.
Okay.
Also. So Stiction Eliminator was mainly, first when it came out, we actually formulated it for the Hewing injectors in the early Fords. And what Hewing injectors actually do is they're actuated by oil. They're actuated by oil pressure. They have very tight tolerances in there. And when oil flows through it, oil sits in there, especially conventional. We're talking about back in the 90s with the 73s or the 73s and the
Early 2000s with the 6.0s.
international, stuff like that. And that oil would cook in there and build up varnish and just it would not operate correctly.
Right. And, you're firing an injector, so either it doesn't fire it or it's leaving it open. And all of a sudden we got fuel-air mixture way off and it doesn't run at all.
Then you got to run away.
Right.
Potentially. So, Stiction Eliminator, back when it first came out, was perfect for that. 9 out of 10 on Hewing injectors.
Right.
Restoring them. And then, they switched away from Hewing injectors to Common Rail, and we realized this formula still works great at cleaning out lifters, at, cleaning out in between bearing tolerances, in oil galleys, wherever sludge is going to find its way, wherever it's going to build up and deposit. It's great at resolubilizing, moving it out, and wear metals love to build up inside of the little varnish deposits as well. So it's perfect for just breaking those down, getting the wear metals moved to the filter, and it's a great deep clean.
And I will say any turbocharged vehicle, this is a must.
Absolutely.
Because
Bearings,
that turbo bearing just cooks that oil when you turn off the engine.
Yeah, even if you have the intercooler that stays on afterwards, oil flow is necessary for that. So this is perfect at keeping the varnish.
Right. And I'll throw one more out there, and that's the displacement on the demand in the engine stop vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
We continue to do research on it. I know it's over time we're going to prove it, how well it helps keep those vehicles going. Having a hybrid pickup myself right now.
Yeah.
FR3 just went in, actually.
Cool.
I finally got to the mark where I could do that, so
Nice.
it's going to help protect those bearings, the turbo bearings, number one, and also with the stop-start as well, because I know it's got to be rough, especially on those cold mornings.
Yeah, with those type of systems, Chevy was kind of the first ones to do it with displacement on demand in the 70s with the Cadillacs, but also now with the active fuel management. You have cylinders that are just being deactivated. You go from a V8 to a V4, and it's only been used more widespread by other manufacturers. But what happens when these cylinders are turned off is the lifters are not being actuated. They have springs in them. They're roller cam. So
Small tolerances like a HU injector again.
exactly. Small tolerance has got a little spring in there with a tiny, tiny oil entry port.
Yep.
That port gets clogged up, and then over time, varnish can actually turn into this sticky friction. Is exactly what stiction is, and it's a perfect example of that in these lifters, where the lifters will actually stay compressed from the varnish in there, and then you hear that tapping, that lifter tick, the classic LS lifter tick, and that's exactly what it is. The lifter is stuck down, and we found that Stiction Eliminator and FR3 both work great at just busting up that varnish and letting those lifters go back.
Yeah, so you definitely could do the two-step treatment there where you start out with Stiction Eliminator.
Absolutely,
Help
yes.
clean up that issue. It starts to quiet down. FR3 would be great for the next oil change or two.
Yeah.
But if you're still getting that issue, and you should hear it quieting some,
Absolutely.
run another treatment of Stiction Eliminator. So you can run it back to back, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have 2 treat rates just for that reason. We have 4 ounces per quart for the Stiction, and then we also have a 2 ounce per quart for Stiction. And then, of course, FR3 is the 2 ounces per quart as well.
1.5 ounce per quart.
1.5. So, but yeah, that's a perfect plane to use with that, and I seriously recommend it for any LS engines out there that are running into these issues. I know it's on the gasser side, but we're always looking for testers as well. We want firsthand accounts for an application like this. So
Yeah, if you got one, just send an email on our website and we'll get you on our list and get you set up to become a tester for.
Yeah.
So if you got an LS or the 5.0 Coyote Fords, and also actually be looking at the Hemis as well, because they have a tick as well. So
yeah,
I wanted to say Huey, not Hemi.
yeah, we were just talking about it. So. And you get free product out of it. Being a tester, you get free product. So
Yeah, the only thing we want is your feedback, honest feedback, so we could help formulate the right product to make the fix if it's a new product, or if we end up use one of these and market it and have the research that says it fixes 9 out of 10 lifter ticks in LS. That'd be something we'd love to be able to prove and show people. So, and let's talk a little more in depth about FR3. What is FR3?
So FR3 is going to be our full synthetic version of Stiction Eliminator that is more optimized for the lubricating aspect of things. And I like to think of FR3 as butter for the mechanical bread. It's pretty good for just about any application you can think of where, does this need lubricated? I should probably put FR3 on it.
So we should replace the WD-40 and duct tape chart with FR3.
I would like to do that. Yeah, that'd be pretty great.
Chad, work on that. Good social meme coming up.
But yeah, well, I mean, I've heard of applications where FR3 has been used anywhere from my engine seized, I pulled the spark plugs and put a little bit in there, and now it spins freely, now it turns. So anywhere from that to I mix this in my 2-stroke oil.
Right.
So it really is one of those products.
Differentials, hydraulics as well.
Absolutely.
And one of my favorites actually oil hubs on a trailer.
Yeah.
I had firsthand knowledge from people that's used it. They've been on the road and they knew those hubs were getting hot, and they took a syringe out of their toolbox and threw some FR3 in them and got down the road, and it was cool when they got to the next destination. So.
Awesome. Yeah, so those hubs are actually they're gear oil operated. They're not a grease hub like your typical on the road truck. They have a whole reservoir of a quart to a quart and a half. So yeah, FR3 is great for that as well. And
And FR3, actually, the name comes from friction reducer with 3 unique patents that we use in that. So we take a nanocarbon. It's the only one that's clear, stays in suspension with those 3 patent technologies that we use in that. So that's where that comes from. We said really it's the secret sauce, like you said earlier, in all our oils, too. We put it in everything that we make. If it's in a Hot Shot Secret oil, it's got FR3 in it.
Yeah, and one last note on it is the seal swell. That's one thing that a lot of people are kind of worried about with older vehicles. If I switch to a synthetic, am I going to get oil leaks? FR3, go ahead and use that. The issue that you run in with these older vehicles is those seals actually shrink over time. They become brittle. FR3 is great at rejuvenating those seals, allowing them to soak up a bit more oil and actually prevent leaks. So,
Okay, perfect.
and hydraulics as well.
Yeah,
Hydraulics get creep, they get seal leaks, so it's perfect for that application.
And you mentioned before about FR3 being our full synthetic. Both stiction limiter and FR3 can be used in both synthetic and
Yes,
conventional
yes,
oils. So,
absolutely.
just wanted to point that out as well, not to help, take care of any confusion there
Yeah.
as well. All right. I think it's a great time to move into our dealer shout-outs.
Awesome. Sounds good. So we got a Power Down Diesel in Leeds, Alabama. Thank you guys very much. And then we got RJ's Diesel Repair in Stonington, what is that, Connecticut?
Connecticut, yeah. The big old CT.
Nice. So our event's coming up here soon. I'll let you take that over, Josh.
All right. Lights Out that we just got done talking about with Kyle early on. We got Ryan Milliken, Fire Punk, I guess, is down there. Maybe they made the trip. I'm not sure. I know they had some problems on the dyno earlier. Ring Racing, Johnny Malasel, everyone. South Georgia Motorsports Park, On Flow Racing. We're the official sponsor of that as well, and that is this weekend. Starting out the month of March, we have the World Series of Pro Mod, Pro 5.2 Challenge. We are, once again, the official Flow Racing sponsor of that. And we got Bill Lutz and Matty Graves taking on that down at Brandington Motorsports Park. And Kyle will be going over to the Zemi Spring show over in Pennsylvania, one of our great dealers there as well. And rounding out March, we're at the Mid-America Truck Show down in Louisville, Kentucky once again, March 21st through 23rd. And I will say I just secured a multi-engine modified tractor for our display there as well. And besides the truck show itself, we are also a part of the truck and tractor pull there. Mac Trailer puts on a benefit pull there as well. And that's an NTPA event, and we're glad to be a part of that as well. So have a lot of our Hot Shot Secret drivers there, and a great, I believe that's Saturday night event there as well. So if you're going down to the truck show, you can go check that out as well. Or if you're just a fan of truck and tractor pulling, go check that out as well. And it's over at, I believe the website's truckingshow.com for Matt's, or you can just search for it.
Awesome. So now we got Steve Summers' Overnight Drive. Great tips, tricks, and stories over there. That's going on from midnight to 5 a.m., and that is streaming on Facebook and Rumble.
All right.
And we got, looks like we got a sale going on at O'Reilly's with EDT plus Winter Defense. That is $2.50, save $2.50 and double reward points.
Yep.
And we got a few new SKUs at AutoZone. We got our 4-ounce EDT over there, our 16-ounce Diesel Extreme, 16-ounce Stiction Eliminator, and our 16-ounce EDT plus Winter Defense in that squeeze bottle as well.
Yeah, so those are great sizes. Great that we bring this up now. If you're new to diesel, that 4 ounce is a great size to try it out.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Diesel Extreme, that's a 1-tank treatment, so perfect for most pickups.
Yep.
And then Stiction Eliminator in the 16 ounce, that's great for those gas car engines we just mentioned as well. And then EDT Plus for, well, if you're in the cold weather, you know you need it.
Absolutely.
And I think we have some weather events coming up this week anyway, so get over there now. You can grab it there. You can grab it at O'Reilly's we just mentioned. Mm-hmm. It's also available at Northern Pilot stores as well.
Okay, gotcha. Cool.
So the EDT Plus at AutoZone is also climate-based, so you may not have it at your local store, so check online to see if they have it. But if you're in cold weather, you should be seeing it, but again, it's regionally based.
Gotcha. So we also got some sales going on the web. We have get 500 reward points when you leave your first product review. Then you can use your points to discount the next purchase. And if you've already left a review, don't let that stop you from telling us how you feel about our products. Always love to hear some feedback. So, and make sure you're signed in or sign up for an account and the points are not tracked with a guest. So definitely make an account for that.
Yep, that's a great reason right there to make an account. Make sure you're getting all those points.
And then obviously stay in the loop with us. Subscribe to the email newsletter. Look out for sales, news, and blogs. And look out for exclusive deals at hotshotsecret.com/email.
All right.
So we got any comments going on there?
We are doing great.
Awesome. Good to hear.
So I know it ran a little late today, but I think we had a great show.
Yeah,
I want to thank you, Logan, for hosting with me once
No
again.
problem.
I had a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
So be sure to like and share this video and do this on our Facebook page as well. And have a great week. We're going to close out the show with a video that will air on Facebook and YouTube Friday at 5 p.m. This is a video of Jared Ring and the first fire-breathing full-size firing. You trying to twist my tongue, aren't you? You're going to make a fool out of me yet. That's all right. Jared Rings brought Frosty 2.0 to life. That's what I'm going with.
Awesome.
Have a great weekend or a week, and we'll see you guys around.
Ready for some more full sends.
I'm Jared Ring. We're out of Midland, Texas. Frosty 2.0 here is a truck we brought out about a year ago. Brought over to the small tire scene, trying to do some stuff. A lot of these people weren't doing other than like maybe Ryan's, Novas, things like that. Currently, we just went back and went through the motor with Freedom Fleece. They went back, did some of their updates to it. Still has the Wagler style head on it at the moment. We've been running a Hartz Charger. Actually, this morning we blew up our Hartz Charger, had an overspeed issue. I think we've got that corrected now. We're going to be running it here the rest of the day. Go back to hard as soon as we get time. Work back on our piping a little bit. This truck is of course all S&S fuel. Has a few one-off parts on it from other people. Beans, a few different style covers, things like that. This engine does have Lindbergh crank, D&J rods, all that stuff in it. We have a mixture of almost everybody's everything. Truck's been running on a lock style manifold up until this race. We were having overspeed issues, not able to bleed enough nitrous off, not enough dry pressure out of the gate, so we swapped over to a header with a new straight E-gate. We've got plenty of bleed off. Our overspeed issue was basically a map that was a little off with a little bit of nitrous to come in too quick. This thing does run on edge, all that. It's a 1800 horsepower combo on turbo and another 1500 on nitrous. So it does run at the end of the turbo all the time. Other than that, some of the safety stuff we have lately was like Mag Fabworks, the new fire rate system, Randy's old school fab. He's got a ton of stuff on this truck. Tailgate, roll fan, sheets out the back, carbon fiber on the dash, of course valve cover, all that kind of stuff. Daniel out of Power Source Diesel, he does all the tuning on this thing. Him and Andre in conjunction. Andrew does all the beating on the keyboard, makes all his suggestions of how he wants to do things. Daniel tunes all the chassis, guides Andre how he wants him to do different things as well.
Very nice.
All in all, we have a pretty good thing going. This thing has a lot of potential that we're just scratching on, trying to figure out the right way to do it. Coming up to hurdles, having to go around them. This truck is heavy on the nose. It is heavier than all the trucks in our class. But I don't think we're going to have any trouble competing with it.